All right, babies. It's that time again. Oh, yeah. We are in Luke 7, I think. And we're looking at the passage where Jesus says, "Who do people say I am?" And some say you're Elijah. Some say you're John the Baptist. And he says, "Well, who do you say I am?" And Peter says, "You are the Christ of God." It's an interesting term. You don't hear that very often in the Bible. The Christ of God means the anointed one from God, which is another way of saying you are the Messiah. And then Jesus says very sternly, make sure you don't tell anyone this. For the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the chief priests and scribes and be killed and raised on the third day. Wow. That's quite an exchange. They must have been floored. Because their idea was Jesus was going to remove Roman rule and bring back the kingdom of David. No. As usual, God has a different plan. And one that will last for eternity. So that's it, baby. We do ourselves well to remind ourselves that God is after something very different than what we usually are. God will use any kind of situation to increase our trust of Him. So that we stay close. And stay conversant. And if possible, become intimate. That's what He's after. So if you want God to share His joy with you, yeah, baby. Give Him what He's after. Which is room in you to change you, to improve you. Oh yeah. I had a really good prayer last night. I love it when the Holy Spirit gives us a little hurdle help in our prayers. Such was my experience last night. by that I mean he was giving me words to say that were flowing sort of endlessly and freely. And speaking profound things that are dear to both of our hearts. And I'm just very thankful for when he gives me that help. Which I would say is about half of the time. The other half, I'm sort of searching and waiting on him to lead me, because I don't want to pray for things that are based on what I think and what I want. I want to do it based on where he's at and what it is that I need to be more like him. I'll give you a for instance. At work, I screwed up, and my boss is not happy with me. I referred to this parent's child by a name that the parent doesn't recognize as the name of that child. The child wants us to call her by this name. So that's what we do in school. In fact, I think it's a law now that you have to call your students by the names and or pronouns that they request. And my boss had told us like a couple weeks ago not to use her most recent name. I totally forgot. So when I get to work, I'm going to see email, I'm sure, from my boss saying, giving me instructions on how to walk this back. So ridiculous. So the reason I'm bringing that up is that's obviously not something I wanted to happen, but it's something God will use to help me focus in on him, so that my peace at work is not based on if my boss is happy or not with me, but it will be am I staying in tune with the lover of my soul? Yeah, baby. So that's what I mean about staying close to God, making room for him, seeking his character to be built in us above all other things. Because all the other things are just distractions, whatever they might be. Anything that's not God's character being built in you, it's a distraction. Because if you have that as a foundation, then you'll be in a clear mind to proceed in whatever it is you're doing, helping others, creating, offering prayers, being useful. You'll know when you're prioritizing God's love being obvious in who you are. Oh yeah, baby.